to all the dispossessed youth of Africa, for perpetuation of communion with ancestral spirits through the fight for African freedom, and in the firm faith that the dead, the living, and the unborn will unite to build the destroyed shrines. Selah. Hello and welcome, beloveds, to another episode of Wake Up Africa. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray that you are well in all your ways and that you're moving into living life truly on your own terms, beloveds. Thanks to every single person that has subscribed to the channel. Go ahead and like and share the videos, beloveds. And thanks to everyone that supports us on Patreon. We appreciate, love you so much. We do share more information on there, especially concerning everything that's happening with the global takeover that we're witnessing right now. And there's a video that was taken down a while back. If you're part of the Patreon family, just, you can definitely find it on there. But those are stories for other days. We have to start to learn to move differently, beloveds. And that's why I felt so called today to talk about the importance of our relationship with food and how we eat, especially because we have to recognize, first of all, that food has been weaponized. It's been weaponized over time, anything that we're taking into the body. Because you see, they're trying to take over the minds, and they're going to do it by any means necessary. First, by attacking a mind through many different means. Religion is a mental attack. Education is a mental attack. The way the government is a mental control. So there's many ways that they have tried to take us over. And one of the things that they need in order for us not to be able to fully, to be fully operational, in this cycle and to live out our destiny is by, poisoning the food that we're taking so that our vessel becomes so low vibrational that it can't handle our higher vibrational selves. And even if our higher vibrational selves try and maneuver in this being, we'll always be dealing with low vibrational issues, or we'll always be feeling trapped. Our lives will always be feeling like a fight. That's why I always say one of the most important things, at least for me, in my spiritual journey, was to first and foremost refine what I was eating. And I think in these seasons and times, that's why I've advocated so much for you to grow your own food. And one of the other reasons that I was advocating that you stop eating, the meats and the chickens of this world. I mean, you just need to watch one like a second of one documentary of these chicken factories, how they hook the chickens on, and then all the throats are slit together, and then they're skinned. I mean, and look at that as a living sentient being, as part of nature, and see how that energy enters you. Because one thing that we haven't been made to recognize how deep food is. And I think if many of us knew how deep the process of eating and food is, we would never eat out. Literally, we'd always make sure we're eating our own food. And even, because here in Africa, many people from the bottom up actually have maids who cook for them every day, etc., etc. We'd never allow that because we'd understand the kind of energies. You see, because the important thing is not that what we're eating physically, but what we're taking in energetically. That's what affects us, beloveds. And many of us are not aware of this energetic dimension of eating, which is why we take it so lightly. But you eat everything, all the energy that is in that food, beloveds, you take into your system. And just like the physical replenishes certain, that energy adds to the energy that is already inside of you. And so if you're eating in something that was inhumanely slaughtered, and it's been cooked in a restaurant that is exploiting the workers, so the workers are frustrated and angry as they, make that potion for you, because that's literally what food is. Then all those things, you even get a bellyache. And most of the times when you get a bellyache when you go to a restaurant, it's not so much that the food is bad, but it's like the energy that the food was cooked in. So as you elevate yourselves, beloveds, it's so important to recognize that. But now what's happening is we're going into a certain season where many won't have a choice of eating organically, because the highest level right now, if you want to live that highest level life, beloveds, in this season of joy, of happiness, and totally bay out of the Babylon matrix, then you also have to stop taking the Babylon food. And if you want to stay in the Babylon matrix and you feel you have something to contribute, that's also fine, beloveds. But in order, like, so the highest is to cook your own food, make your own manure, just make sure that that whole ecosystem is under your control, that you're the one who's you're the one who's preparing your food, and you're speaking love and life into it, you're giving thanks and gratitude for it, etc., etc. So that's the highest, and that's why I've been advocating for people to move off grid, start move out of the cities, start making their own food, etc., etc. But there is a second dimension to this that we need to be aware of for the majority who may not be able to do that. And that second dimension is that engineered poverty is, not so engineered poverty, but check out that video. Engineered famine is coming. And if you look, there's so many, you need to do your research and look into how many, farmers were manipulated into destroying their crops or paid into destroying their crops, allegedly. And how many, there's been so many crop failures around the world. In Europe, there was a massive crop failure. Across the divided states, there was a massive crop failure because of the weather patterns. In China, which, a lot of food used to come from there, there's been a lot of crop failure. They're already talking of, food insufficiency here in Africa. So that's another part. And because, you're seeing the empty shelves in the divided kingdom and the divided states, I'm not sure about how Europe is going. But basically, that's the next step, beloveds. And so you need to be aware of that and now start to see your food more as an energetic thing that you're taking in, and start to see, to consume food in a more spiritual way so that you can survive the seasons and the times that are coming. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, Africa.
Welcome back, beloveds, to Wake Up Africa. My name is Dr. Mumbi Seraki. Really happy that you could join us. Be sure to like and share this video, beloveds. Now, I'm speaking about food today, but it doesn't necessarily just have to be about food. It can be about, moving energetically and spiritually now, realizing that that's the world we're in, can happen on many dimensions. But I'm hoping you'll be able to take this example and move it into other parts of your life. You see, many of us now are not going to have a choice just because of the way the world was set up. People got set up, beloveds, where you even gave away the control of your own food production. And so you're literally at the mercy of the powers that be, who are now saying, if you don't have something, if you don't have a certain document, you can't even go and buy food. Can you get it delivered online? Those are the dimensions we're going to have to look into. But food has already been weaponized. And the way it's been weaponized is to keep you as low vibrational as possible, to keep your body lethargic and weak, and to not give it any proper nutrition, even though you think you're eating something nutritious, so that there's always a deficiency. And when there's a deficiency in the vehicle, you can't move around the way you'd like to move around. But there is something that you can do. What you need, that's why I keep saying you need to start really overstanding, understanding, and understanding that you live on you're living in a mental world that is manifesting physically. That what is controlling this system is the spirit and the mind. And so if what is controlling the system is the spirit and the mind, then you should be able to speak healing to yourself and you heal instantly. You should be able to speak to nature and you get what you want, or nature should already be naturally providing you with that. But when it comes to food, and this is the power of the tongue, you have to now get into the habit, beloveds, of speaking to your food and speaking to your water. You see, it starts with, like, if where we are right now, if you're still going to restaurants, which is crazy, but or people are making your food, or you're buying your vegetables before you make them, it's important to clear the energy, any negative energy that is attached to that from the chemicals that were used, everything, clear that. And energetically, it will happen. Like, have faith that it will happen. And then once you've cleared the energy, add more power, more strength. May everything I take in, I empower it. I put spirit in this to be able to heal and resurrect me and empower me and take me to the next level. Like, you need to put that kind of energy in your food. I mean, the Christians were onto something when they were talking about, praying over your food before you eat it. And especially now that even, people are going to be going into situations with empty shelves, et cetera, where you may have to get into eating canned food and other food that's not very nutritious. But you can spiritually energize that food and make it nutritious for yourself. And then you need to disconnect so much from seeing food as like eating as a physical process to seeing it as a spiritual process. So that if you don't have food for a couple of days, the physical doesn't kill you. Because your mind can survive, but your physical may not be able to. And you see, if you start what I'm saying now, like developing that intimacy with your food and your how you eat, beloveds, maybe I'll do a show on that. Let me know if you'd want me to do, on just the meditative powers of how to eat. I don't know if I'll have time to talk about it here, but if you start now about blessing your food, energizing your food, like with your water, you should be putting, words of power on your water so that it gets that energy. Every time you see that water and you connect with those words, you're like, your energy, your focus and attention, that means your power is going into that water and energizing that water. And if you start this now with energizing your water with your own power, energizing your food, clearing the negative, adding more positive and more power to it. If you start that now, then you will start performing miracles in your life down the road. And there's some people who are totally not going to get this, and this is not for you, but there's some who are really going to get this. If you start that now, then you will evolve to the point where if you only have a bottle of water between a family of 5, you can pray on that water, you can bless that water, you can speak into that water and say, may every sip that we take, be like a whole cup of water and replenish us. Some of you will reach high level magician level where you'll be able, that bottle will just keep filling itself. But those are stories for other days. That's why I keep saying the most important thing right now is to refine yourself, beloveds. Know thyself, refine thyself so that you can do this. But develop these habits now of speaking power to your food, speaking to your food, recognizing that one of the laws around is that everything is alive, everything is vibrating. Even the solid table that you see, the solid, this vase, everything has, is vibrating, which means it has spirit in it. And as spirit, you can speak to that thing. And this is where we're going to have to get, especially because most of the food people will be getting from here on out will either be sparse or like rare, or it will be totally jacked up with all kinds of things that will mash up your system. So learn to clear your food of all energies, all manipulative, negative, diabolical energies, and infuse it with your power. Learn now, start today. And eventually it's like a muscle. Eventually you'll because the most important thing to build is not what you're speaking, but it's the faith in what you're speaking so that you actually see results. These are perilous times, beloveds. We have to move more spiritually than physically. Tuko pamoja.